Tom Ford Grey Vetiver Parfum. Is it any good? Hey fragrance family, I'm Dave and I'm a fragrance bro, of course your best source for everything fragrance related. Now, I'm a big Tom Ford fan. I really like a lot of his fragrances, especially in the signature line, which is kind of the non-private blend line. I think he has a lot of really solid fragrances in that line. One of them, chief of them, I think, being Grey Vetiver. I've reviewed Grey Vetiver a few times. They have an eau de toilette version, they have an eau de parfum version, both of them very good. Slightly different there. My preference is the eau de parfum, and now they just came out with the parfum version. Sometimes with these companies, they kind of just shuffle notes around or maybe repackage a fragrance and call it a parfum. So I want to review it today and see how it is. Is it any good? Is it stronger than the original? Is it any different? So let's get into it. And if you like this type of content, if you like fragrance content, definitely subscribe down below. I think you'll love it here. Do it for Tom Ford. All right, date introduced was 2023, this year. It's pretty new as far as Tom Ford fragrances go. And notes in this are pretty simple. There's only three: orange blossom, saffron, and Haitian vetiver. All right, now what do I think of this, especially compared to the other ones? Now, if you've watched my original videos and reviews, you'll know that the eau de toilette version is very similar to the eau de parfum version. The main difference between the two previous versions is that the eau de parfum has a slightly spicier twinge to it. The eau de toilette has a slightly more citrus bent to it. Both of them are vetiver fragrances. Both of them are very good, very wearable, very classy, really great masculine fragrances. Now, when the parfum version came out, I don't know what the difference in the concentration is. That's one thing I really wish that companies kind of released and divulged. They don't ever do that. So whenever they make a new version, whether it's an eau de parfum or a parfum version, they're kind of just like, well, they'll just assume that it's stronger. Essentially, with the naming structure of fragrances, you assume that eau de parfum is stronger than eau de toilette, which it's supposed to be, and parfum usually is supposed to be a little stronger than eau de parfum, more of like a pure parfum type of thing. Now, what do I get out of this? I mean, I get really essentially Grey Vetiver. This smells almost exactly like Grey Vetiver that I am used to. Now, since I do have an eau de parfum bottle, I tested them side by side to see what they're like. Now, my bottle is a few years old, so it's going to be a little older than the current production of eau de parfum. So I'm not really sure what the current kind of version of the eau de parfum is like. So I can't really say for certain, for sure, if it's any different than my version. But my version is almost identical to the parfum version of this. Essentially, it's kind of a creamy vetiver type of scent. I really get that kind of creamy, airy, smooth, citrus type of fragrance. I put them both on each hand to see if there's any difference in the smell. When I tested it, I wore it to see what it was like on me and see if it was anything like the original one in the air. And I have to say, it smells almost identical to me in the air as the original Grey Vetiver. When I put them on both hands, though, there are some slight differences. But I'm really actually glad that this smells so much like the original one. This parfum version seems to have a twinge of extra kind of woodiness, slightly extra patchouli quality to it. But I mean, just slightly. And when I say that, you probably can't even tell if you're wearing one day and wearing the other one the other day. They're that similar. But I don't know if they're really that noticeable. I think really the eau de parfum version that I have is stronger than the parfum version. The parfum version doesn't seem really noticeably stronger than the eau de parfum version, and I think really is a little bit weaker. It seemed to maybe push out about the same, maybe, but it did seem to last for a shorter time than the eau de parfum version that I have. To me, for season and occasion and purpose, I kind of get really the same type of vibe than the original one. So for season, I definitely think this is great for spring and summer. I think this is great for day and night. Occasion, I think this is almost an anytime wear fragrance. I think this is great for casual, work, formal. So ultimately, what do I think of it? I think this is kind of just a cash grab. I think this is not really worth your time. Though I haven't smelled the current iteration of the eau de parfum, I can't think that it should be any less powerful than this. One thing I will say is that I'm actually kind of glad that this smells very similar to the original one. Sometimes when a fragrance company is making a parfum version, really what that means is they're going to kind of reshuffle around the notes, add a few extra notes in there, kind of release a new fragrance, call it a parfum, bada bing, bada boom, new fragrance. The original one had kind of a laundry list of notes. It had a bunch of different notes in there, and that may be one of the things that they're trying to eliminate from this line. They may be trying to replace the Eau de Parfum with the Parfum version. If I were just to guess, that would be my guess. Because this only has 3 notes in there, I'm assuming that this has kind of a truncated ingredients list. I'm okay with that. It smells almost identical to the original one, but since they're so similar and this one is just kind of strong, not really as strong as the Eau de Parfum, I think what they're probably doing is they're probably pushing one of the Grey Vetivers out. All that to say, I think this is a really expensive version of the Eau de Parfum, but just not as good. And that is unfortunately the case here. Sometimes with these Parfum versions, they're not really even needed. They're just kind of out there to add kind of a reinvigoration in the interest of that particular fragrance. I think that's what they're doing with this. Grey Vetiver had its heyday, but it's not there anymore, so they release a Parfum version in order to generate some interest. Whether that works or not is yet to be seen. But if you're thinking of getting Grey Vetiver, skip this, get the Eau de Parfum version, and if I were you, I would just get it on a discount site. With that, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Fragrance X. Fragrance X is an online reseller that sells thousands of legitimate products for a discounted cost. If you're considering buying a fragrance, definitely check out Fragrance X. I'll have a link down below to them as well as a coupon. But also check out Rakuten.com. Rakuten.com is a website that offers you a rebate with every purchase that you make through their website. They actually have a deal with Fragrance X that offers you a certain percentage in rebates just by buying through Rakuten. So I'll have a link down below to them as well. Definitely check out Fragrance X and Rakuten together. Great. Thank you again for watching. That's all I have. What do you think of the Parfum version of Grey Vetiver? Do you like it? Do you think it's close? What do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments down below. Thank you again for watching. I'm Dave with Fragrance Bros. Bye.